Hi, I'm Dee Ray, co-director at the Center for Play Therapy, and I am here again to talk more about the dissertation process. And this time, we are lucky to have Tara Godhwani is with us, and Tara is mid-process of her dissertation, and I'm so excited to have you here, so thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
Can you take a second and tell us a little bit about what your dissertation's about?
Yeah, so for my dissertation, I'll be investigating the role of help-seeking behaviors, acculturation, and religiosity in predicting South Asian parents' perceptions of play therapy.
Ah, okay. So you're working with a specific population.
Yes, the South Asian community.
Okay. Can you tell a little bit about what your methods are going to be, your procedures?
Yeah, sure. So I am going to be doing a quantitative research study, and specifically I'll be using multiple regression analysis to look at the three different predictor variables and perceptions of play therapy being the outcome variable.
Can you talk a little bit about why you chose those variables for your population?
Yeah. So in thinking about what is even impacting South Asian parents, I had to go through the literature and find that. So these three, acculturation, help-seeking behaviors, and religiosity, came up as three major themes of factors that contribute or impact the community.
Yeah. So you're trying to see what level those contribute to. Would parents seek play therapy, or would play therapy be a good fit for them?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there's not a lot of literature on that.
There's not. So a lot of the literature really pertains to either the Asian American population at large. So the South Asian population is the second largest subpopulation within that umbrella, or the East Asian population is looked at more heavily in research.
Yeah, so you're going to be a trailblazer in that area.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned you were doing multiple regression. Tell us a little bit about how that works. Like, how does that analysis work?
Yeah, so typically, you'll do a regression when you want to look at the relationships between those variables. And so because I want to look at the relationship between those three variables and the perceptions of play therapy being the predictor variable, that's why I'm using multiple regression specifically. So I will be sending out a Qualtrics survey, so a survey to all the participants. They'll fill them out. So each one of those variables has an assessment. And once I collect all the data, that will be able to really tell me which one of those variables, how much each one is impacting their perceptions of play therapy. Are they impacting their perceptions of play therapy? So I'll be able to see a lot through that data.
Yeah, so you're using standardized assessments to then predict how would they feel about play therapy then.
Exactly.
Oh, it's really innovative, right?
Yeah.
And especially with the population that we don't have literature on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what did you have to do in your program to prepare to run that kind of analysis?
Yeah, so I took some research classes, of course, the ones that we are required to take. And then I also took a multiple regression class specifically to learn about the analysis and how to best conduct this kind of study. And then, just using what I've learned from multicultural counseling diverse populations and reading literature on this population, just using those skills to help.
Okay. So what obstacles or challenges have you experienced so far you think might, or anticipate that might be happening for your study?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest obstacles I've experienced so far is just the lack of literature out there. So I'm trying to, again, collect data on a population that is highly stigmatized, but is also has not been approached for this kind of study before. I anticipate that would be maybe a barrier in this study. And so hoping to make it as approachable as possible and collect as much diversity within the population as I can. So we'll see how that goes.
So finding avenues of access to the population is a challenge that you think might be one of the issues that you come up.
Yeah.
I also know in your literature review that there were some obstacles there in putting together your literature review?
Yeah, so putting together a literature review, again, a lot of the literature out there had to do with the Asian American population as a whole. So having to really infer about the South Asian population based on that literature, or on the East Asian population specifically. And so again, having to infer what the South Asian population, especially South Asian children and adolescents, might be experienced based on the literature that is currently out there.
Yeah, you had to work really hard to get all that together just to find anything out there.
Yeah.
So I know one of the added challenges, because I asked your permission to bring this up, but one of the added challenges, you have a little one at home and another one on the way. Can you talk about what it's like to balance your dissertation research at the same time as all your other responsibilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So having a toddler during a dissertation phase it is more difficult in terms of just having to manage my time and find those pockets of time that I can really sit down and like dive into the literature or dive into writing. So I've had to be creative on, having to do that when she's asleep, or, really wanting to form those boundaries between being able to still have my personal life, but also do this in a timely manner. And then, expecting one on the way. I think the hardest part has just been getting through that first trimester fatigue. And so luckily I was able to kind of at the end of that push through and get the literature review done and propose the dissertation. So it's been exciting time, but also having to be a little creative on how to do it.
And very motivated.
And very motivated,
to do both.
Yes.
How do I be a mom in a great way, and how do I do dissertation in a great way?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you hope your research will contribute to play therapy?
Yeah, I'm just hoping to have the South Asian community be looked at in a different kind of way, especially in the play therapy field. Hoping that the South Asian children and adolescents can be a population that others see as being in need for an intervention like play therapy. And it starts here by figuring out, what do South Asian parents even think about it? And why aren't we seeing this population heavily in play therapy or in counseling? So I'm hoping to kind of start that movement towards just introducing the South Asian population to the counseling world.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to make a big difference in the whole idea of how do we be more culturally inclusive in play therapy and bring in this group that we have not done a good job with, right? I don't know if you feel that way, but...
Yeah. I think, again, they're worth paying attention to, this community. And so I'm excited about the potential that can come out of this study and then future studies like it.
Okay, so you'll come back and tell us what you found, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very excited about that. All right, thank you, Tara.
Thank you. Thanks.